Hello out there in video land. Let's get our radio guys going. Yes, we're all going here. My name is Paul Kalamir. This is HABSOLUTELY coming to you from Niagara Falls, Ontario, fine in the studios of 4680Q Radio. How's everybody doing today? Bonjour, mon ami. As you can see, my partner Jean-Louis Villion is not here this week again. He's tied up with business, so yes, we won't get to see his valuable input today, but we still have lots going on here. And we have lots to do today. Lots going on in the world of hockey, especially with the Montreal Canadiens. Just to let you know, subscribe. Come on, subscribe. We need people to subscribe. If you're watching this, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. It helps us get the show out more. The more, the merrier. You can help us get there by just hitting the subscribe button. You get notifications when I drop a video, and you'll also be able to comment and everything else. So subscribe to the channel. Come on, let's go. Let's get everybody involved with our Habs, our beloved Habs. We love the Habs. Everybody loves the Habs. And I got my Habs pen even here. See this? Absolutely. There it is. There's my Habs pen. Got my blue Habs blue watch. I got my Habs beautiful starter jacket from the 90s on. Everything's going good here today. But just to let you know, you can also catch the show on Rumble and X now. That's right. Every week it goes on Rumble and it also goes on X. We're expanding the presence of the show in the internet, on different social platforms, which is good. Okay, so let's get to hockey. And of course, we're watching the playoffs. Now, my dark horse pick, the Dallas Stars. I mean, after the Habs got knocked out, of course, because my dark horse pick from day one was the Habs. I thought we could do it and we'd get somewhere, but we didn't. But that's fine. That's fine. They well exceeded whatever any pundits thought they were going to do. I thought they're going to be battling for a playoff spot. They jumped that shark. I was happy, and I'm still happy. We did just what I wanted to do. We got where we wanted to get. A little bit of experience, 5 games of experience for the boys, which is good. They need that playoff experience. One day we're going to get through to the finals, and everything that we're doing now is going to lead up to that and make it even better. Okay, so Dallas is my dark horse pick. And they defeated the Winnipeg Jets to move on to meet the Edmonton Oilers in the conference final. That's going to be a great series. I think it just might be starting tonight. Last night we saw the Carolina Hurricane get beat by the Florida Panthers. A great team, Florida, by the way. I mean, they're good. They're really good. Well, what can you say? They won the Stanley Cup last year, so yeah, they're not a bunch of slouches. They won that game last night. We'll see what happens with the Edmonton Oilers coming up, I think, tonight. I'm not really worried about that game because Laval Rocket's playing tonight. And I go to RDS and I watch Laval Rocket play. Here's where my interest lies right now. So that's what I'm going to be doing tonight, watching Laval Rocket. So over in the East here, the perennial losers down the highway in Hogtown did it again. They blew Game 7 to move on into the playoffs, which they're not doing. Stop the parade. The parade's off again this year. Since 1967, we've had to say the parade's off. They not only lost, they got shelled 6-1. I think the score was in Game 7 against Florida. I mean, I got to say that it's got to be the end of these guys: Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares. They got to go. They got to shake up this team. That's the only thing I can see. It's year after year after year. And these guys they're big scorers, put the numbers up on the board during the season. But in the postseason, they can't do anything. They're useless. And that's going to lead us to a lot of stuff that's going on in the free agency and also as far as trades go and the draft picks. So, yeah, they played their last 3 games after coming out of Florida, tied 2-2, and they got trounced 2 out of 3. I mean, they got hammered, right? And that's that. So, Leafs are out. Habs are happy. Habs fans, they love when they see the Leafs Elimination Day. That's what they call it. When is the Leaf Elimination Day going to be? Well, we saw it. So that's that. It's over. And we don't have to think about them anymore. We don't have to think about them anymore. Okay, so let's go to viewer comments. We had a few viewer comments. Um, this show is a little bit different than a lot of the shows. I always talk about the comments. I love our people who watch. We thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate every one of our listeners and every one of our followers. Vinny Houdon, he's one of the big guys. He follows us all the time, and we really, really appreciate it. Vinny, you're a great guy. And we get the comments on here. But, a lot of the shows I'm watching now, I always check in to see what everybody else is doing, get some valuable tips from them that they're giving a lot of predictions about where Habs are going to do, and they're throwing all these names against the wall, and later on they'll say, "Oh, I was right." Well, you throw so many names against the wall. I could name every player in the draft, every player in the thing, and say, "Oh, I got it. I was right. I knew they were going to." No, I'm not going to do that. I don't know. I'm more about looking at the names and when I deal with Hughes, I think of Hughes. I think of expecting the unexpected. The Habs are in a position that a lot of other teams aren't in, and we'll talk about that later. But let's get to our viewer comments, and of course, Vinny Houdon. He says trivia was too easy because last week I asked about a Hab who was a helicopter pilot and owned as a partner in a helicopter company and that kind of thing, and I didn't know the answer. I didn't know the answer until I read who it was, right? To be honest with you. I'm totally honest. And he says, trivia was too easy. I'm surprised you didn't know LaFleur was a pilot and flew helicopters. I didn't know that. I knew he rode a Harley Davidson motorcycle. I never had a clue. So, yeah, when I read it, I was surprised. I thought this would be a great trivia question. How many people know that he actually flew helicopters and it was part owner of a helicopter company or something? So I'm going wild. And he also got hired by, I think it was by Bell. I think he got hired by Bell, and he actually flew their helicopters to customers. And we were saying, imagine you're sitting there waiting for delivery of a helicopter, and the helicopter lands, and who steps out but Guy Lafleur? I mean, oh, wow. So anyway, I didn't know that. And then he says him and Cornway were idols in my childhood, teenage days. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't. Those weren't my childhood or teenage days. I mean, I'm a little bit older than I think Vinny, but I definitely they were idols of mine, along with Jean Beliveau and Maurice Richard and that crew there. Of course, they were. Um, he says he cried like a baby when Lafleur died, and he's not afraid to admit it. And I never cried like a baby when Lafleur died. I never cried. I was sad. I mean, it's the end of an era, but we knew he had cancer. I'll tell you when I got tears in my eyes 2 times: Maurice Richard and Jean Beliveau. Watching those ceremonies and the Garden or the Bell Center, Montreal Forum, watching those ceremonies, and when I heard they died, I was sad. I was sad. And you talk about a part of your youth and losing a piece of your childhood, Vinny. I agree. I did too, because I grew up with these guys. I mean, you got to imagine that, like, every game we were there watching those games and rooting them on. I mean, they're part of your family after a while. So, yeah, I agree, Vinny. I agree with that, and I don't. And I'm not afraid to admit it neither. These guys were part of our family. They visited every Saturday night, came to see us in our living rooms, and usually delivered the goods. That's, because they were that great. Another one from Vince Houdon. Great games so far. Laughs got clobbered 6-1, and Laval won their game. And their game 1 in the series against Rochester Americans when Kapanen getting the game winner late in the third. Gotta love it. Go Rocket, go! And I'm with you on that, Vinny. I've been watching them myself, and we'll talk more about the Laval Rocket later on in the show. But yeah, I watched the games, and I'm just so happy to see that our guys are out there skating around, doing really good. And the game's tonight. There's a game tonight, so we'll watch that one too. Okay, so let's get to Habs trivia. Absolutely Habs trivia. Okay, mon ami. So let's see how well you know your modern day Habs trivia. Which team was not one of the teams Habs beat in the playoffs to win their last Stanley Cup in 1993? So we go back to 1993. Habs won a Stanley Cup, and I remember watching it with my buddy Rob Lalonde. We watched every game, and Rob, he's a crazy maniac, and he made a Stanley Cup. And we were there watching the game when Montreal won that Stanley Cup. And of course, you know how the players all laid down and took that team picture? We laid in front of the TV with that picture behind us and got a picture. And then we were sitting there with the Stanley Cup, and he lived on a main street. So we're sitting on his front porch with his Stanley Cup he made. And people are going by beeping, and it was a fun time. But that's the last time a Canadian team won a Stanley Cup. But what was the team that Montreal did not play in their run to the Stanley Cup that year? Quebec Nordique, number one. Buffalo Sabres, New York Rangers, or Los Angeles Kings. Of those four teams, what team was not in Montreal did not play? What team didn't Montreal play to win the Stanley Cup? Which team was not one of the teams that Habs beat in the playoffs to win their last Stanley Cup? That's the question. Number one, Quebec Nordique. Number two, Buffalo Sabres. Number three, New York Rangers. Number four, Los Angeles Kings. Do you remember? Do you remember that series? Do you remember? Because there was a team there that they didn't beat to get through the series, to the Stanley Cup. Okay, tick-tock, tick-tock. Vinny, you got it? Vinny probably knows this. Vinny knows a lot about the Habs. But did you get it? Did you get it? And the team that Montreal did not beat to win the Stanley Cup, they didn't have to go through them, was the New York Rangers. Yeah, it was the New York Rangers. They never played them. The Rangers didn't make the playoffs that year. We beat the New York Islanders, though, I think. I think that's the team that we went through. The New York Islanders, if I'm not mistaken. Or the New York Islanders won it. Maybe we didn't have to beat them. Yeah, but either way, the Rangers weren't in it. That's the team that we did not have to beat. The other three teams we beat, Nordique, Sabres, and Los Angeles Kings. We went through all of them, and you remember the Los Angeles controversy when Gretzky should have had a penalty, and then he scored in overtime to beat the Leafs. There they are again, the Leafs. And then we went right through everybody, got to the Kings, and handily took them 4-1. In 1993, Habs finished with 102 points. And, whenever we talk about 93, or you talk about 93 to somebody who's not a Habs fan, they say, oh, they got lucky, Patrick Waugh, blah, blah, blah. They never had that team sucked. Well, we got 102 points during the season. That team did not suck. That was a decent team. Now, yes, we had Patrick Waugh in net. And yes, Patrick Waugh stole a lot of the games, which made it even sweeter. But we had a good team. We had a decent team. I mean, 102 points is not a bad season for an alleged terrible team or a terrible season. Habs were third in their division, fourth in the conference as far as points go. The first round saw them dispatch the Quebec Nordiques in 6 games. Then we swept those lowly Buffalo Sabres in 4. We took care of the Islanders in 5 games and won the Cup in 5 games against the Kings. So, yeah, we did pretty good. 6, 10, 15, and 5, 20 games out of what can you play there? 4 rounds, 28. So, yeah. Yep, we did all right. And the Rangers did not make the playoffs that year. And that was the first time in his NHL career that Mark Messier, who was the captain of the Rangers that year, had missed the playoffs. Believe it or not, all the years Messier played, that was the first time he missed the playoffs. And this was also the year Habs won 10 consecutive playoff games in overtime, and the playoffs featured a record number of overtime games, all the playoffs, ever coming in at 28 for all playoff series. So there was 28 overtime games, the most ever. The Habs coach, Jacques Demers, and included players such as Guy Carbonneau, Brian Bellows, Patrice Brisebois, Vinny Danfus, Eric Desjardins, Mike Keane, Stéphane Lebeau, Jean Leclerc. No, that Jean Leclerc, remember we traded him to Philly, and oh boy, never heard the end of that one. Kirk Muller, Matthew Schneider, Brian Skrudland, Turner Stevenson. Remember him? He was a big, tough guy. Gary Lehman, Lyle Odeline. Talk about a tough guy. Lyle Odeline. Holy man. J.J. Daniel, Benoit Brunet, and of course, Patty Waugh, St. Patrick was on that team as well. This was definitely, it wasn't an all-star lineup, but it was a solid group of players, and they were tough. They had some tough players. Fortunately for the Habs, the big teams like Pittsburgh and Boston were eliminated early. As a matter of fact, 1993 saw numerous upsets as the third-place team in each division reached their respective conference finals, setting up the Habs nicely for a Stanley Cup win. The big boys were knocked out early, so I remember sitting there and seeing Pittsburgh get knocked out, Boston get knocked out, all these teams getting knocked out that we always had trouble with. And I'm going, oh boy, this is great. This is setting up beautiful for Montreal. Gretzky won the playoff scoring title with 40 points in those playoffs. But St. Patrick Waugh, won the Conn Smythe for the MVP of the playoffs. And and according to my question here, who did the Habs not have to play? Well, that were the New York Rangers, and Mark Messier watched from home and enjoyed the playoffs, with Messier being the first time he never made the playoffs in his career. So there you go, Habs trivia. Vinny, did you get that one? I don't know. That was a tough one. I don't know if I would have got it because Rangers have been there for a long time with Messi and that. I don't know if I would have guessed the Rangers. I might have guessed Buffalo Sabres or something because they usually suck. A lot of times they don't even make it in the playoffs. Maybe that's the last time they made it in the playoffs. I don't know. Okay, so moving on from the trivia. Thank you very much for tuning into the trivia. I hope you got the answer right. You know your Habs may be better than I do. Some important dates for Habs coming up. The season may be over, but the excitement is continuing to build for the Habs as they search the UFA market for that second line center. But most talk is around players that we really don't need, like Marner, Rossi, Crosby. I mean, Marner, I don't even know if I want it. Just craziness. Yeah, he gets points, except in the playoffs, of course. But do we really need a $13 million long-term contract player? Because that's what he's going to be looking for. I don't want to pay it. I doubt if Hughes wants to pay it. And I don't know, when you got guys like Suzuki and Slav and Caulfield sitting there at $7.8 million, and you bring this guy in and you're going to give him $13 million, I don't know. I just don't think we need that at this point. I think we got enough. We're in a good position, really. I think we got enough out there. Rossi, well, if they get him, he's like 5'9" or something. Do we want any more Smurfs? We got Smurfs. We don't want Smurfs or Geezers. And if you want Geezers, that's Crosby. So those three guys, Marner, Rossi, and Crosby, I got to throw them right out. I really don't want any of them. I've been saying this for 5 or 6 years now. No more Smurfs, no more Geezers. We don't want these guys. Okay, yeah, Crosby. You bring in Crosby. He's going to be great in the dressing room. You know, he's going to help the younger guys, and he still does have some play in him. But, I don't think Crosby's leaving Pittsburgh, to be honest with you. He started there. He's going to end up there. He's not going anywhere. Pittsburgh Penguins are going to sign him to a couple years or whatever, give him whatever he wants. I mean, come on. He's going to stay there for the rest of his career. And everybody in Montreal thinks he's coming over. Well, I don't think so. And, I don't even care if he does or not. I really don't want him. Let him stay in Pittsburgh. Let them pick up some of these other guys and shore up that team. They need help. They didn't make the playoffs this year. They need help. They need help. I doubt if Crosby's going to take a walk. I mean, if he comes to Montreal, we got him. Am I going to cry? No, I'm not going to cry because I think he can be valuable to our young players. But I just don't think it's going to happen. You may disagree with me. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. Rossi, like I said, 5'9". I mean, we don't want any more Smurfs. I mean, who are we gonna? We're gonna have to ditch someone if we get this guy. And who are we gonna ditch? Are we gonna get a 5'9" guy? I don't care how he plays. Oh, he plays big. No, never mind. We don't need that. We got Rossi's sitting in Laval. We got to bring up. We got him on board. Forget about him. We want somebody that has size, that has talent, and a little sandpaper, a little bit of grit. We don't want to get ragged on. We don't want to get pushed around. We got guys like Bennett. Sam Bennett. There's a guy with sandpaper. He's a second line center for sure. And everybody knows in the league knows what we're looking for. Hughes especially. And it isn't a lot of these guys that people are talking about. I mean, yeah, they're going to throw all these names against the wall and hope at the end somehow they get on the team like Line A, and then everybody, I knew he was coming. I knew he was coming. I said he was coming. He also said 20 other people were coming. So I'm not even going to get into that stuff this year. I don't want to get into that, all these names and everything, because it really means nothing. I'm going by E2. E-T-U. Expect the unexpected. Because that's what Hughes does. He gives you something you don't expect. ETU. And we're one of the teams that are in a phenomenal position for this. Because at the end of the day, we've had 33 draft picks over the last 3 years, and we got a dozen more this year, including 16th, 17th this year in the first round. Plus, I don't know, 4 or 5 picks in the second round. Excuse me, a dozen picks total. I don't think we're in a position where we have to do anything. If you think about it, and you look at Laval, we got guys that we have to upload. We have to get them up into the main club. I mean, you can name a dozen guys who are probably, ready to come up anytime. Right, Mayu. I mean, this guy's having a phenomenal playoff down there. Had a phenomenal season. Owen Beck. Barboulay. Wawa. Joshua Waugh. We've got Luke Kandada. Fowler. I mean, we've got Reinbacher. I mean, there's a dozen guys who have either been up for a couple games and sent down again or are ready to at least give it a shot on the big club. So, do we need to get anything other than what we really need, that second line center? No. Hughes knows it. I know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. So what are they going to do with the 16th and 17th pick? Well, who knows? But whatever they do, they're probably not going to get an NHL-ready player. The player they get is probably going to be 3 to 4 years away from coming up. So we're going to have to look to the UFA market, or we're going to have to maybe put an offer sheet on an RFA if there's one out there that we want. So, I mean, that's where probably we're going to go if we want immediate relief for that second line center. Now, Kirby Dach, yeah, okay. But who knows? That guy never plays. I'd get rid of him. I'm serious. I'm tired of these guys. Line out. This guy's a waste of time. Dach, out. Another guy who's always hurt. We've had him 3 years. What's he played? 20 games? I mean, how long are you going to wait for this guy? Newhook, another one. He can go. And then we got Dvorak and Armia. If Armia signs cheap enough, I think they'll keep him. They're talking $2.5 million to sign him. We're definitely going to sign Hudson to an extension. We want this guy for long term, for sure. Get him settled in. Then we'll have a nice core of Demidov, Hudson, Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slav. We'll have those 4 or 5 guys core signed long term. It's into our plans. So, I mean, we have a lot of guys to upload. Now, that 16th and 17th pick, along with one of our prospects down in Laval, might get us the second line center that we need. And everybody says, well, it's about tax situation. They don't want to play for Montreal. That's baloney. They want to play for Montreal. You have lawyers, you have accountants that know how to figure this all out. They play games with in the gray areas of the contracts and of the players, the player, what do you call that? Player contracts, anyway, the CBA or whatever it's called. So it's not a problem. We can get around that, the tax situation and everything else, by being creative with our accountants and lawyers. So it's not that, and a lot of players want to come to Montreal now because of what we're building here. We're headed to a Stanley Cup. So they know that. So it might not be as hard as you think to get that second line center and to attract him from other teams that you think, like, Florida, where the weather's always nice and the tax situation is great, or some of these other places. It may not be as tough to attract one of these guys. Plus, we have the prospects. Plus, we have the draft picks. There's a lot that we have to offer that other teams can't offer. So, can we make a move? We probably can. Hughes is good at it. So, E2, expect the unexpected. Don't be surprised if we do get one of these guys. Who it's going to be, I have no idea. I don't know what their contracts are. I don't know what their no trade clauses are, if they have them, or their limited movement clause. They can only be moved to certain teams, and that kind of thing. So we'll have to wait and see for that. But we definitely have the parts that a lot of teams don't have to be able to negotiate for one of these guys. And that's the interesting part. We have a lot we can lay on the table. And forget about it. All these things, Cole Caulfield for Marner. No, it's not going to happen. We're not getting rid of those guys. Our core 5 guys are not going anywhere. The rest of them, who knows? Evans, Armia, Dvorak, Laine, whatever. It doesn't matter who you name outside of that core 5. Even our goaltenders, I don't think we're set on goal either. I don't think our hearts would break if we lost any of those guys. So you may see somebody need a Montembeault or a Dobish, and combined with the right players and getting the right player back, you might see a deal. Expect the unexpected. E2. Always have E2 when it comes to Hughes, because you don't know what's going to happen. He doesn't telegraph stuff. He keeps it close to his chest. And then all of a sudden, it's there. Like Laine. I know everybody was predicting it, but at the end of the day, we never got him. Then all of a sudden, he's ours. For better, or in this case, for worse. So, the team that I'm looking at pretty close all the time. Team that I'm looking at is, look at it. We got John Ringo Beam out there, perennial Boston fan. Look at this, Johnny. I'm a Habs fan. Get out of here. Look at the Habs. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thumbs up. There he is. One of my buddies out there. He's a commentator. He's a commenter. He comments. Not so much on the Habs. He's a Bruins fan, but he comments on my other show, Your City, Your Voice, my big show. Hey, so the team that I'm looking at, and I don't want Marner. I think Marner would be a good fit somewhere like in out west somewhere. One of those teams out west, maybe Detroit. That'd be a good fit for him. And of course, the Rangers, they love to blow money. They'll buy anybody. They'll take anybody. They got all kinds of stuff. And speaking of the Rangers, that's a team that I'm watching very closely. Why? Because they never made the playoffs. And they've got a heck of a team. So there's something going on there, something that's got to change. They got 2 guys that I'd love to see. And we know that Hughes worked for the Rangers. He has a close relationship with the Rangers. And there's 2 guys that I would have no problem getting. on our team. Centers, and their salaries are in line with what the Habs are paying Suzuki and Caulfield and Slavkovsky and what they're going to try to pay Hudson. That is Zibanejad and Trocheck. Either one of those two, if Rangers want to play, if they want to play the trading game, I would have no problem with them. We know Hughes knows the Rangers real well. He worked for the Rangers before he came to Montreal. He has a good relationship with them. Boy, oh boy, if we could pick up one of those guys, one of those two guys, that would be fantastic. And I'm not saying we're good. I'm not saying Rangers want to get rid of them. I haven't heard any rumors. I'm just looking at them going two centers. The two of them, either one of them, we'd love to have. Rangers never made the playoffs. Are they going to shake things up a little bit? Maybe. And maybe there's some players that we have that they'd be interested in. And Owen Beck. Maybe a Logan Mailloux. Who knows? But what I'm saying is that if the opportunity's there and it makes sense for the Habs, the Hughes may pull the trigger on it, and I would have no problem with either one of those two players. I would like to see him. Trocheck especially. He's a tough guy. He'd be a perfect second-line center. Okay, but that's just my musings. I mean, we have the trades. We have the prospects. We have the draft picks. We can make these trades. A lot of teams don't have everything that the Habs have. Plus, we have a future. People can see what's going on. They watch Cole Caulfield. They watch Nick Suzuki. Young guys, long-term contracts, locked in. They know the Habs are going places, and they want to be a part of it. That's an advantage that we have over a lot of teams that have peaked, and now they're on the downward slide, like Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins have to rebuild that whole team. They got to rebuild. They could be terrible for a few years. And so, I mean, they're going to keep their core guys and be looking for other guys. Do they have somebody we might want, they want to get rid of that might work out well with Montreal? We don't know. That's up to Hughes. But always the Rangers I look to because he likes to deal with the Rangers. Now, what are some important dates coming up for the Montreal Canadiens? Well, for us guys watching this stuff, the NHL draft is June 27th, and we're going to be looking to draft 12 picks, including number 16 and 17. And like I say, E2, expect the unexpected from Hughes. We saw him give up a couple draft picks to grab Newhook. We might see him grab a couple of draft picks and a prospect. Somebody wants to move up in the draft. There may be somebody that he wants. We're going to talk about some of the selections here that we may have a shot at later on. So the draft is coming up June 27th. The date hasn't been announced, but the NHL awards ceremony will take place sometimes towards the end of June after the playoffs. And I expect Lane Hudson to get the Calder Trophy. I really, really do. I don't think there's anybody else that comes close to what he did this year for a first-year kid coming into the NHL, playing defense, breaking all records for points and everything. I mean, come on. It's no brainer. They got to pick him. We have the 2025 IIHF World Championship starting. It's being played right now. I think I saw Canada beat Sweden or something. I think this is the one that Suzuki took a pass on. Said he wasn't going to play because he was tired from the season. We have free agency, of course, on July 1st. Always watch free agency. Last year we saw Drew Deeks jump in the swimming pool when we picked Demidov. Hopefully we do it again outside with Drew Deeks and he can jump in again when we get a good pick. I don't know if you'll be excited about 16th or 17th pick as he was with Demidov. Prospect Challenge, which usually hits early September. Training camp in September, the last of September. Exhibition games preseason. Schedule starts September 30th against the Senators. And then the regular season schedule, which hasn't been released yet for 2025-26. But it starts in the first or second week of October. So, I mean, it sounds like a long way away, but it really isn't. Before you know it, we're at July 1st. There's not that many weeks. We got 4 weeks in June, a couple weeks left in May, and we're at July 1st. 6 weeks away from the free agency, and only about 4 weeks away from the draft. 27th of June. We're not that far away. We're only 4 to 6 weeks away from everything. So, and once we get through July, 31 days, we're into August, Prospects Challenge and all the other stuff, or whenever that's played. And then all of a sudden, it's September and training camp, exhibition games, then we're back in the season. Boy, summer goes fast, doesn't it? So yeah, season's over for hockey for us, but there's still lots going on, and we got to watch all the news and watch what's going on. So let's watch Laval, because they're the guys that are going to be coming up. We got to onboard some of these guys. It's only a matter of time. We got to start onboarding them. We got 12 picks this year. What good are the picks? We got 33 picks that we got on board. Got to get in the NHL. Got to see where they are in that. So we've got lots. We got lots of stuff already out there. We don't really need to trade. We don't need a UFA unless we can find one that fits what we need, and that's a second line center, without a doubt. So yeah, we're not against the wall for anything here. We're one of the lucky teams, really, when you think about it. So some prospects that the Habs may be looking for, and these are just picks that I've seen people talking about, and that, I don't go through these guys the best. I let the experts do it. I'm not in Europe watching them. I don't go to their games. I don't have scouts that I pay to go out there and watch them. So all I'm doing is just listening to what other people say who maybe follow it more closely or have a connection somewhere. Because guys do have connections that of course, I don't have, and that, definitely the public don't have. So they're talking about Justin Carbonneau, 6'1", 185, 18 years old, from Quebec. It's a right winger. They're talking Lyndon Lakovic from Kelowna, BC, 6'4", 190 pounds at 18. He's a forward. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. These are the kind of players I want to see. Logan Hensler, NCAA player, 6'2", right-handed defenseman, 6'2", 196, big kid. We can use that. Jack Nesbitt, 6'4", 185, a center from the Windsor Spitfires. How about this guy? He's available 16th, 17th. Wouldn't that be nice? 6'4", 185, just a kid. He's a center. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is where our team has to go. We've just got to get a little bit bigger. Malcolm Spence, 5'3". Oh, 5'3". No Smurfs. Malcolm Spence, 6'3", 201, left wing. This is the kind of players. These are the kind of players that I think Hughes is going to be going for. I don't think we want any more Smurfs. I mean, I don't care. They say they're talented and that, but it's just so tough when you're small in the NHL. We saw the Washington Caps ragdoll our team for a few games. We won one game, but for the most part, they ragdolled us. A guy like Tom Wilson skating around, hitting us at will, ragdolling us for what? We had nobody to work, and then we got the peacenik Marty St. Louis, who doesn't want to play Jack Guy because, it's violence. You know what, Marty? This is the way the league is. You need some big guys in the playoffs. You had big guys around you. You need some big guys. You need some grit. And if he won't play players because they might get a penalty, you know what, Marty? Hughes will force you. Let's get all big guys on the team. Then he's got nobody to sit out. He's got to have a big guys on the ice. So all these guys are perfect. They're perfect. Now, these picks that I've just been hearing about, their names are bandied about by Craig Button and everybody else. I think that they're possibilities, and we'll have to see at the draft. I mean, last year we were really into the draft in the last few years because we got a high pick. I mean, we got a pick in the top 5. So, yeah, who are we going to pick? What kind of shifting are we going to do? When we didn't pick Mishkov, I was beside myself. She'd got to take the best player. Mishkov was, and they gave every excuse in the book, and here he is playing in the NHL a year after he was picked by Daniel Briere, who saw it. Yeah, so we've got to take the best player available at 16 and 17, but we also want the best player with size. We need size on this team. Everybody says it. I'm not making it up. I mean, I'm not a genius to figure this out. I see the games, see what happens. So, you know, these 5 players I just mentioned, they're 5 that are possible. Some players mentioned on the free agency market, and for me, any of them would work for the Habs. Sam Bennett, center Brock Nelson, Matt Duchene, Mason McTavish, he'd be an offer sheet, Bo Horvath. I mean, if we picked up any of those players, I probably wouldn't have any problem with it if we could get a good deal on them and get them over. It's all great. But let me ask you a question. Has Hughes ever picked up a free agent? I've been watching this for 3 years. I don't think I've ever seen him pick up a free agent. I don't think we have. I can't think of one right now. And if he did, it's a rare event. He always trades. I'm really not looking for him to do anything in the free agency market this year. Maybe he will because we need a second line center. Maybe there's a guy out there that he thinks would work. If there is, God bless him, and hopefully he grabs them. But I've never seen the Habs with him make any big moves in free agency. We've sat there for year after year with Hughes, and we haven't seen anything happen. So if it does, I don't know if it will or not. But like I say, he's got a good working relationship in the NHL on the whole. So it's all good. We'll see him maybe do something. He may do the trades. He may pick trade picks, move up or something like that. If he sees somebody he wants, perhaps, or if he's got a move that he can make with another team, give him a couple of the picks we have and get somebody like he did with Newhook and Doc. I know a lot of people are trying to figure it all out, but you know what? I'm going to take another road. I'm going to sit back, watch the master at work. That's Hughes. And when it comes down, I won't be able to claim I told you so like everyone else that threw out 30 names and got one right. But when I hear the rumor mill, I'll throw some names out there, and then you can decide. Do you think it's going to happen or not? Leave it in the comments. Leave who you think maybe the Habs are going to be picking up on. Give your opinion, and I'll repeat it here on the air and go through it, and I'll take a look at these guys if you have any inside info. But I know one thing. Whoever he gets, we need size. We need talent. We need grit. No geezers. No Smurfs. I mean, if we could pick up Crosby, that would be great. There are some geezers I'll be happy to have, not so much for what they're going to bring to the team point-wise and ability-wise, because they'd be at an advanced age like Crosby. He's a little bit old. He's still got a couple years left, but, he's getting there. But the thing with Crosby, the importance of having him there is he would have the ability to guide the younger guys. He's got the experience. He knows what he's doing. He can help them not only go farther, but play the game. This is the way you play the game. Crosby's been up against it all in his career. He's been hammered. He's been attacked, everything. So good for him. If we get him, I'm not going to cry, but I just don't think that's part of what we're doing right now. And like I say, ETU, expect the unexpected from Hughes. We could be sitting here, all these people talking about all these players and this guy, they like this, and all of a sudden we come up with something else. Who knows? Hughes has got his own path he takes, and I love it because it's always a surprise, and it's always a move where if we do pick up somebody like that, if it doesn't work out, we can easily move him. Line A, we might not be able to move him. He'll play maybe next year, but then his contract's up and he won't be back if we can't get rid of him before that. But you never know. Somebody might take him and give it a try. You never know. So let's get over to the Laval Rocket. And I've been watching them on RDS, like I said, and they've been pretty great to watch. I love watching them. I know most of the players. We've seen them, which is really cool. But I have a question for everybody out there. What's with the Habs and their coaches screwing around with the goaltenders? I don't get it at all. We see Fowler play the games, and he wins. Our season ends. Primo was up because Monabo got hurt. He goes back down, and he puts him in right away, Vincent. Why? The guys have played for a couple weeks. Fowler's won 2 games. He got a shutout. Puts him in. Primo loses. Puts Fowler back in. Fowler wins to end that series against the Cleveland Monsters. So then we go against the Rochester Americans. What does Vincent do? He puts Primo back in. You've got a hot goalie, Fowler. Why sit him? Put him in. Let him play. No, he puts Primo in. Okay, Primo wins the first game 5-4, right? Barboulay, Gignac, Kapanen, and Mayu and Reinbacher did the honors with goals. Beck and Watt had 2 assists each in the game, so that's good. And then in game 2, he puts Fowler back in. Now, Primo won that game. Why wouldn't he go with Primo? Now, Fowler's been sitting. He puts him back in, and we get beat 5 to, I don't know, what was it, 5-3 or something like that, game 2. I don't get this crazy rotation. If the goaltender's hot, keep him in. Why are they flipping these guys around like that? In game 2, he put Fowler in. It didn't work out. I don't get this rotation. I don't get it. Condada, Dauphin, and Dauphin. And Davidson got the markers for the Rocket with Beck, Reinbacher, Barboulay, Ingstrom, and Gignac, Touche, and Wotherspoon getting the helpers. The Rockets are finding out the Americans are not the Cleveland Monsters. They're a little bit tougher, these guys. They're a lot better, actually. And the Rocket has to play better if they're going to win this series, which is tied 1-1 with the next 3 games in Laval starting tonight on RTS. I will be watching. Okay, and that's that. Another week on HABSOLUTELY. Hey, that's it for today. We'll keep a watch on the experts, keep a watch on the players, keep a watch on free agents, and basically keep a watch on all Habs every week. Habs news every week. HABSOLUTELY. That's the name of the show. I'm Paul K. Lemaire. I usually have my cohort, Jean-Louis Fillion, on sitting right here on my right-hand side, my left-hand side. Yeah, again. Maybe the other one. But he's usually right here. He's not. Couldn't be here, and we miss him. We miss you, John. Many who don't always ask about you. Anyway, take care, everybody. God bless you all. Stay tuned. Watch the Laval game tonight. Watch some of the playoffs if you want. IIHF, watch that if you want. I'm in the Laval. That's what I'm watching. Have a great day. Have a great week. We will see you next week on HABSOLUTELY live from the studios of 4680Q in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Go Habs, go. We got an exciting 6 weeks coming up. Take care. Be good.